Welcome back in one of the Bears Trouble Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, December 7th, and I'm back breaking down some college basketball on Saturday afternoon. We do have a lot of good matchups today. Only going to be looking at 2 graphic plays. Do have 3 other plays I'm going to talk about. So I believe it's going to be 5 game picks in total, 2 player props, 7 plays in total. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at the Friday night games. Absolute chaos on Friday night. Georgetown plus 4.5. Georgetown plus 8.5, sorry. Felt like 4.5. We were winning the entire game. And again, Georgetown's going to be my team this year. Winning the entire game, had to lead the half, came out in the second half, shot well, got to the 8-minute mark, and then all of a sudden, it was just home cooking. Georgetown couldn't make a shot. West Virginia couldn't miss a shot. Fouls going their way, calls going their way, turnovers going their way. 50-50 balls going their way. It's just home cooking in college basketball, man. Speaking of home cooking, Illinois minus 3.5, up by 5 points the majority of the game. Northwestern finds a way to force overtime, then they win it in overtime outright. And Illinois is a pretty good team. The Northwestern it's just home. It's just home cooking, and that's not going to be a problem for us today. Just letting everybody know we're taking both home teams. Thomas Sorber, 4 rebounds in the first 12 minutes of this game going up against West Virginia, finished with 4 rebounds. So he had no rebounds in the last 25, 28 minutes of the game. And then I'll put a spell on you. Kasparis. Jacosionis. Over 4.5 assists. He finished with, I believe, 8 in the game. So that was the only one that did hit. 1-3 day. Not great after the 3-1 day. We got to try to get back on track here. We're going to start with Wisconsin going up against Marquette. Number 11 going up against number 5. The spread's minus 6.5 in favor of Marquette. I have been in this situation before, and Marquette came out on top whenever I thought the spread didn't make a lot of sense at home. That game was Purdue. They were the favorite. Purdue at the time, I believe, was the 5th or 6th best team in the nation. They ended up beating the brakes off Purdue by 18 points, stomping them into the ground. I think we're going to see another game just like that. I think Marquette is one of the better teams in the nation. We saw them against Iowa State. Iowa State, again, had the home court advantage. Marquette tied the game up 61-61, then the Cyclones just took over. Marquette did not play their best game offensively in that one. But again, it was just on-the-road shooting. They just didn't shoot the ball well, and that's just what happens when teams go on the road. That was their only loss of the season. They do have a win against a top-ranked Purdue team and a Georgia team who I think is going to be good in the SEC. For Wisconsin, they've played a top-ranked Arizona team, beating them by 15 points. Then they played Michigan a couple days ago. Michigan has been lights out over the last couple games. They did lose to them. So we have both of these teams playing good competition. Both of these teams have looked pretty good on this season. Couple wins against top opponents, couple losses against top opponents. I think the difference in this game is going to be the scoring of Marquette because Wisconsin, they have one guy putting in some work on that side of the ball. His name is John Tonchi. They just throwing everything at me this year. I'm going to say it's Tonji. He was at Colorado State 2019 to 2023. This guy's been in college basketball for 7 years. Played with Missouri last season. This season with Marquette. He scored 2 points per game last season. 22.3 for this season with Wisconsin. So that doesn't make any sense in my brain as well. The Badgers also have John Blackwell. He was there last season for Wisconsin. Not impressed with him last season. This year he's scoring 14 points per game. They're the 11th ranked team in the country. I just don't see a ton of talent on this squad. They got the hot start, but Marquette, they've been around the block a time or two, this entire team. They've got multiple guys coming back. Cam Jones, the leading scorer from last season. Joplin's been great down low. They're at home. They're going to win this game by 6.5 at least. I think Marquette, coming off that disappointment against Iowa State, they're going to kill Wisconsin here. Minus 6.5 as the play. And for the next play, we're looking at another top 10 matchup. Gonzaga going up against Kentucky. Kentucky kind of getting the short end of the stick, having to go up against Clemson and Gonzaga back-to-back games on the road. That is a really tough ask, especially this early in the season. I do think Gonzaga is going to hold the advantage in this game, minus 5.5. This does feel like it's a lot, but again, I'm sick and tired of taking teams on the road. I'm going to take the home team, minus 5.5. Spread doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Kentucky this season, they've been good. I mean, Clemson was good. I thought Kentucky might be able to win that game because they've been playing well all season long. They beat Duke, but Clemson beat them. For Gonzaga, the only loss in the season was against West Virginia. I have no idea how they lost that game. That's a bad loss. Georgetown should have beat West Virginia. I don't think West Virginia is that good. That's a bad loss for them. But they did bounce back against number 14 Indiana, beating them by 16 points. Then they dismantled Davidson. That was unfair in the tournament game, but I think they have a pretty good matchup here with Kentucky. Both of these teams are very similar. Kentucky down low might have some problems with Gonzaga. We have Graham Ike down low. We have Brandon Huff down low. Those guys on their tiptoes are 7 foot and change. We have Ryan Hemhart being an absolute machine on the offensive side. He's been the general for this team. He has nearly 11 assists per game. I'm going to talk about him as my player prop. We have Hickman. We have Battle. We just have guys everywhere on the floor for Gonzaga. Same thing with Kentucky, though. Both of these teams scoring 90-plus points per game. Both of these teams have been very competitive on the defensive side. I just don't see where the 5.5's coming from. But again, I'm so sick and tired of taking the road team when I think they have a legitimate shot to win this game outright. I'm tired of taking that side and losing on the home cooking. So I'm going to take Gonzaga here, minus 5.5. I'm going to feel uncomfortable in this game, but I'm going to take the home team. Minus 5.5 is the play for the first player prop of the day. We're going to go back to Cam Jones and Marquette. I took him a couple days ago. When did I take him? Maybe against Purdue? I don't know. He scored 14 points in the game that I took him. He did not go over the total points. I'm going to go back to him in this game. I don't think Wisconsin's going to be that good defensive this season. Wisconsin of the past, that was a team that would score, 48 points and they would lose 50-48 in a close battle. That's not the Marquette, a smart Marquette. That's not the Wisconsin that we have anymore. This is a team that's going to be able to score some points, give up some points on the defensive side. So I do think Marquette's going to be able to score points with them. I don't see Marquette scoring less than 70-plus in this game. Also in the season so far for Jones, he's hitting 67.5% of his shots from the field at home, shooting 43% from deep, 18.4 points per game at home. He's coming off a very tough game on the road against Iowa State. He shot the ball 21 times, only made 28% of those shots, only having 14 points in the game. He made 1 3. That's going to be most likely his worst game of the season from the field. This is a guy who is not going to shy away from shooting the ball. He is a confident shooter. He is not going to go away from that. He's the leading scorer on this team for a reason, and he's been the leader of this team for back-to-back years. So that's just an off night. He's going to bounce back in this game. I'm going to take him over his total points as the first play. And for the final play of the day, we're going to be looking at that Gonzaga game, and I'm going to go to someone who has made maybe the biggest turnaround in a career for a college player, Ryan Nembhard, over his total assists. At Creighton for 2 years, he was a good player at Creighton. Most part was scoring double-digit points per game. Creighton loved his scoring. He transferred to Gonzaga, scored 12.6 points per game last season. This season, he's been more of just an all-around point guard. Not shooting the ball a ton, he's just getting his teammates involved. He's only averaging 7.3 shots per game. He's scoring 10.6 points per game. But on the season, he's leading every person in the nation, 10.8 assists per game. That is up 4 total assists per game from last season, only averaging 6.8. This Gonzaga game is most likely going to have a lot of scoring between these two teams. Like I said in the breakdown, both these teams scoring 90-plus points per game. And Nembhard is coming off back-to-back games of having 12-plus assists. West Virginia, Indiana, and Davidson. I'm going to take him over his total assists once again as the final play. Let's go to the recap graphic. We are going to be talking about 3 more plays. I've got myself in a blender tonight. I did put these 3 plays up there. I'm only going to be picking one of them. I did want to talk about Kansas State a little bit. They're horrible. They have 6 wins on the season. They're not a good team. They lost to LSU and Liberty. Haven't played anybody in the top 25. Haven't played anybody in the top 50 this season. St. John's a good team. They've played some top 50 teams, including number 13 Baylor, losing by 1 point. They beat the brakes off Virginia by 25 points. They put up 80 points on that Virginia defense. This is a game St. John's wins easily. I'm going to take them minus 10 at home. Not going to take it as an official play. Just think that's worth a look. This is going to be an official play. Nebraska plus 6.5 with the points against Michigan State. I have been impressed with Nebraska. Remember, we took we took St. Mary's a couple weeks ago, I think it was like the first week of college basketball going up against Nebraska. Nebraska hung tough. I think they only lost that game by 1 point. And Michigan State, they're a good team. They're not a great team. I think Michigan State's just whenever you say college basketball, you think Michigan State. You don't think they're overly great. You don't think they're overly bad. They're just Michigan State. They're just an overall good team. They're not great. 6.5 points is a lot, especially in a conference battle. Michigan State also plays some pretty good team this season, but Nebraska's played a couple great teams as well. So I think both sides are pretty well battle-tested. I just think 6.5 points is a lot. So I'm going to take Nebraska with the points as the play there. Good team basketball there. And for the last play of the day, not going to take it. I think I should take it, but I'm not going to take it. The spread's minus 8.5. I think this is worth a look. Michigan's been unstoppable over the last several games. They beat a very good Xavier team. They then beat Wisconsin by 3 points on the road. Michigan kind of looks like a juggernaut in the Big Ten right now. Danny Wolf has been amazing for them coming out from Yale. He's been the leading scorer. He's been everywhere on the floor. They're scoring 80 points per game. They're playing great defense. Iowa, they're the exact same team from last, 3 or 4 years. They're going to try to put up 90 points per game. They're going to give up 75-plus points per game. This is the typical Iowa Hawkeyes team. They're going to try to win this game 90-88. That's not going to work out. Michigan's going to play good defense. Michigan's going to have efficient offense against that bad Iowa defense. I'm going to take them minus 8.5. Not an official play, but I think you should look at it. So the official plays for tomorrow, we're going to add in Nebraska plus 6.5, Marquette minus 6.5, Gonzaga minus 5.5, Cam Jones over his total points, and then Ryan Nembhard over his total assists as the two-player props. Guys, it's going to do it. The NCAA basketball picks and props for Saturday, December 7th slate games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please drop a like this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.